This is the great sin of narcissists that makes God angry and can't be forgiven forever. The defining characteristics of narcissism are grandiosity, a lack of empathy, and a need for admiration. Being in a relationship with a narcissist can be debilitating. Narcissists can cause their victims a great deal of mental anguish, rendering them unable to move on with their lives. Being in a relationship with a narcissist is emotionally taxing, and it can take years for a victim to recover from the anguish. Unfairness is one of the most essential things to understand about interactions with narcissists. Typically, narcissists do not accept accountability for their behavior. They instead accuse their victims. They may employ manipulation and gaslighting to cause their victims to question their own reality and memories of the incident. This can make people feel bewildered and uncertain about what occurred, which can worsen their emotional state. When a narcissist is finished with his or her objective, they move on without hesitation. They may simply give up on their target and discard them as if they never existed. This may cause the target to feel hurt and bewildered as they attempt to determine what went awry. Narcissists frequently have little regard for others and view them as nothing more than tools for their own benefit. This dearth of compassion and concern for others is revolting and difficult to comprehend. In this section, we will discuss the 7 cardinal sins committed by narcissists and the ways in which they attempt to avoid taking responsibility for their poor behavior. Click subscribe to receive new information and continue reading. This will help raise awareness and continue the discussion. First, narcissists are the worst type of emotionally draining individuals. The narcissist feeds on your humanity, your candor, and your mental capabilities. They do it because being in command of others gives them a rush. They enjoy the control they have over you and their ability to intimidate, control, and harm you. However, at what cost? When you sacrifice yourself to make something happen, what exactly are you giving up? You lose mental stability, are unable to distinguish between hallucinations and reality, and are unable to absorb or recall information. Your perspective shifts, and so do your emotions. They do not care if you neglect your identity. They are indifferent to the amount of damage they inflict. The only thing that matters to them is acquiring the necessary energy and materials. Gaslighting to an extreme degree is the second greatest offense. They altered your narrative, your feelings, and your perception of them. What were their thoughts? Obviously, since they were determined to repeat what you said. If they could just control your story, they could get what they want from you, force you to do things, and convince you to agree to things you otherwise wouldn't. They encircled you with their minds and compressed until you conceded to their reality. Your ideas about yourself, them, reality, and the world as a whole were altered, reshaped, and warped when you were in their presence. What was the narcissist's evil scheme until they were able to use you? So that they can obtain your support, allowing them to assume responsibility for things you did not do, faults you did not possess, and censure for things you did. It is unacceptable to allow another person to control your life to the point where you treat yourself like dirt, lose your sense of self-worth, and forget who you are and why you fight. Knowing ignorance is the third mortal offense. Narcissists are always correct about what they desire and require. They are aware that all they must do is be courteous, self-aware, and accountable. However, they do not recognize it. They are capable of performing tasks on their own. Consider the good times when the narcissist was concerned that you might abandon the relationship or lose control over them. They changed some aspects of themselves and became more pleasant individuals. I don't understand why individuals would behave in such a way when they knew it was precisely what you needed to maintain your friendship. To keep the relationship alive, They knew they had to make you plead for the bare minimum of respect, understanding, compassion, presence, intention, love, and care. It is essential to remember all the wonderful things that can help a friendship flourish. On purpose, they denied your request to perform any action. When they couldn't control you directly, they attempted to harm your reputation. Even after discovering that the lies they were disseminating were false, they continued to do so. They fabricated all of these falsehoods about you to cause you harm. Where did this concept originate? It was the result of their animalistic, animal-like hatred. It is difficult to accept that I must respect this person rather than appease their wrath. Relationship issues are inevitable, but I must let the past remain in the past. I must allow them time to recover. But they did not cease. Instead, they continued onward. They attempted to exert direct control over you, but you resisted. Therefore, they chose individuals who could harm your reputation by disseminating lies about you. They destroyed your reputation and altered how others perceived you, which negatively affected your career and personal life. They did not care that they were causing you agony. In fact, they welcomed the opportunity. They realized that if they mounted a smear campaign, they could win over the majority of people and have you expelled, thereby enhancing their own sense of self-worth. It is not acceptable because it would offer them the opportunity to get revenge on you out of jealousy, spite, or a harsh personality. Sin no. 5. Having encounters with other people while attempting to conceal an affair with you. If you find them cheating, they attempt to hide it. Who would be so bold? When you attempt to make them accept responsibility, they call you insane, alter the subject, and say it's your fault. A person who lacks emotion. I'm not ready or willing to consider the disordered aspect of their personality at this time, because I believe this is the behavior of a poor person, not a person with a disorder. This is a terrible occurrence. Evil is doing something you know you shouldn't, knowing that your companion would be harmed if they discovered the truth. And when they discover you, you attempt to discredit them. If you're not awful, I have no idea what you are. I cannot think of anything worse than that. This betrayal is unforgivable because narcissism, which can damage a person's capacity for trust, makes it impossible to forgive. By constantly lying to you and destroying your time together, they reject you in the cruelest way conceivable. They constantly deceive, so you can never be certain of the truth. When you depart the setting and return to reality, you will realize that everything was a dream. So, as soon as you realize and comprehend that it was all a lie, the entire relationship and situation is exposed as a lie. When they do, they are so shocked and wounded that it takes them a very long time to regain their trust. Unfortunately, many individuals who have been deceived never trust another person again. They have been harmed by a trust deficit that will never completely disappear. The sixth transgression is physically harming others. Despite the fact that not all narcissists are physically violent, those who are capable of making their victims feel so insecure that they cannot imagine being around anyone else. A victim may not feel secure again for years or even decades due to their constant fear that the individual who harmed them will return to harm them again. They feel uncomfortable being themselves. Because they have been traumatized by the narcissist's mental and physical abuse, they are provoked by unstable or completely safe environments. Since my own father was a narcissist, I consider individuals who physically harm others to be horrible. When someone turns violent, you don't see yourself. Instead, you see a person devoid of all compassion. In addition, they have no control over their evil, satanic aspect. They are simply acting out their anger. Abusive behavior is the seventh and final cardinal sin. Narcissists view others as objects they can use and discard. Due to their perception of superiority and privilege, They view other individuals as disposable. This is also how they obtain products or evade those who are pursuing them. When they pursue someone, it is not because they care about them, want to know them, build a relationship with them, or want to improve their circumstances. Instead, they desire money, sex, material gain, or something else unrelated to affection, kindness, care, or pure humanity. They only see the benefits they can obtain by manipulating and tricking the individual into stumbling into their trap. They regard people as objects, which satisfies their animal instincts and demonstrates that they care only about themselves and surviving. Exploitation is a complicated topic, and we will discuss it further in a subsequent episode. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you're still following along, please let me know in the comments what you think, and if you enjoyed it, please like and share it. We will continue discussing this on the subsequent episode. Start making improvements.